I didn't mean to find the bus stop. I was walking home later than usual, cutting through streets I barely used anymore, when the city seemed to thin out around me. The noise faded. The streetlights buzzed softly. And there it was, tucked between a shuttered laundromat and a brick wall streaked with rain stains, a bus stop with no sign, no schedule, no number. Just a narrow bench and a streetlight that flickered like it was deciding whether to stay on. The bus was already there. Engine idling. Doors open. Waiting. I remember thinking it felt wrong, not dangerous, not urgent, just wrong in a quiet way. Like a sentence missing a word. When I checked my phone, the screen stayed lit but the time didn't change. And that was when the driver looked at me. He didn't wave. He didn't smile. He simply nodded, once, slow and certain. Before I could think better of it, I stepped inside. The smell inside the bus was old fabric and rain, like coats that had never fully dried. Every seat was taken except one near the back. The passengers sat perfectly still, hands folded, eyes forward, as if they were all waiting for the same thought to finish forming. No one spoke. No one acknowledged me. When the doors closed, the city outside seemed to shut up with them. The bus pulled away without the usual jolt or vibration. It glided. I sat down slowly, suddenly aware of how loud my breathing sounded in the silence. I told myself it was just another late-night route, just another shortcut home. But deep down, I knew better. This bus wasn't part of the city's rhythm. It was moving to its own. The first stop came too quickly. The bus slowed and stopped in front of a grocery store I recognized immediately, one that had been torn down when I was a child. But there it was, lights on, shelves full, doors opening like it had never left. One passenger stood up and stepped off without hesitation. No goodbye. No glance back. The doors closed, and something unsettled me, not the impossible store. But the empty seat left behind. No one replaced it. The absence stayed. As the bus moved on, the store vanished into darkness, like it had been erased mid-memory. I swallowed hard and kept my eyes forward. I tried to speak to the woman beside me. My voice felt thick, heavy, like it didn't belong in the air. I asked her where this bus was going. She didn't turn her head. Her lips didn't move. But I heard her answer anyway. Home. The word echoed inside me, hollow and stretched thin, like it had been used too many times. I realized then that this wasn't a bus for conversation. It was a bus for listening. The driver's voice came over the speaker, low and calm, like someone reading a bedtime rule instead of a warning. Rule 1, he said. Do not miss your stop. That was it. No explanation. No second rule. The way he said it made my chest tighten, not because it sounded threatening, but because it sounded final. Like gravity. Like time. Each stop was wrong in a different way. A movie theater that burned down before I was born. A playground buried beneath a highway. A house I vaguely remembered from a dream I'd once had but never lived. Each time someone stepped off, the bus felt heavier. Quieter. The lights dimmed just a little more. And I began to understand that the bus wasn't losing passengers, it was collecting something else. The woman beside me stood up at a stop I didn't recognize. Before leaving, she turned and looked at me fully for the first time. Her eyes were tired, but calm. You'll know, she said aloud. Then she stepped off. Her seat stayed empty. And I felt colder for it. I started counting the passengers. 10. 8. 5. The bus felt too large for so few people, like a room after a funeral. The stops grew farther apart. The engine sounded deeper, slower. And I realized something that made my stomach drop. The fewer people remained, the longer the bus stayed moving. The bus stopped on my street. My house stood at the end, lights off, curtains drawn. The digital sign at the front of the bus changed. It displayed my name. The doors opened. No one looked at me. My body screamed at me to move, but I stayed seated. The doors closed. The bus moved on. My reflection in the window looked thinner somehow, less solid. I pressed my hand to the glass and felt only cold. The driver's voice returned, softer now. Last warning. Only 2 others remained. One stared at the floor. The other smiled faintly, like someone who had solved a puzzle too late. I missed mine once, he said. You don't disappear right away. That's the cruel part. The city dissolved into fog. Buildings blurred into shadows. Time stopped behaving like time. My phone lit up once with a single notification. Final stop approaching. The smiling man stood up when the bus stopped in the middle of nowhere. No road. No buildings. Just darkness. Good luck, he said, and stepped into nothing. It was just me and the driver now. The bus felt endless. He met my eyes in the mirror. Everyone thinks there's another chance, he said. This bus doesn't take you where you want to go, he continued. It takes you where you stopped moving forward. The words unlocked memories I'd buried, choices delayed, conversations avoided, lives almost lived. The bus slowed one last time. Outside stood a place I had never seen but somehow knew. This is what's left, the driver said. I understood then. This wasn't punishment. It was consequence. Existing without arriving. I stepped off. The doors closed. The bus drove away. I was alone, but aware. Waiting. A bench appeared. A streetlight flickered on. Somewhere behind me, an engine idled. The sign had no name. I sit here now, watching for footsteps. Waiting for someone tired enough, distracted enough, curious enough to board. I won't warn them. Everyone has a stop. Most people just don't recognize it.